going to be doing this event called Ondas Sonoras, which means sound waves. On August 20th, sort of the nighttime, from the 22nd to the 23rd, 1791, was the rebellion by the enslaved folks in Haiti that triggered the liberation of then dozens and dozens of countries subsequent to that. And in commemoration of that, August 23rd is the day of remembrance of the slave trade and its abolition. And tonight is August 23rd, and we will be doing a special event where our students with some of the traditional capoeira instruments, the berimbau and the capoeira, we will be facing the Atlantic Ocean at Oakland Beach, which is not too far from here. It's only about 15 minutes. And we'll be sending sound waves down the Atlantic in commemoration and for the fallen, stolen Africans, as well as fallen, shipped indigenous people from these lands in that direction. We're that simple. And this is an opportunity to think about that shore-to-shore experience. And so we ask you to join us in that sort of moment of reflection. What's also happening is in Senegal and in Cape Verde, West Africa, folks are playing in this direction. And along some of the coast of Brazil, folks are going to be playing in that direction as well. We're doing it slightly, unfortunately, because right now in Cape Verde, we're there at like 7, 8 o'clock, it's midnight over there. So they're going to try as hard as they can to be as close to that, but we're sending these sound waves to each other, and we're taking that moment to reflect. It's important that we not forget. Right? It's sort of like forgive, but there's a whole other dimension, because if we lean towards forgetting, then we'll start to join in the erasure history and all of the stories that are attached to our experiences. So we hope you can join us. It's at Oakland Beach. If you put it in your GPS, Oakland Beach, you'll be able to go straight there. It's in all of the different programs. And if you have any difficulty, you can always check in with the chief, or he can give you a number and make sure you're all set. We'll be there actually at 6 o'clock doing a workshop on moving and capoeira. You're welcome to join that as well. And then around 7:50, 7:30, sunset is at 7:22. We get right close to that and it starts to get dark, and that's usually our cue. That's time to this person. That's it. So hope to see you.
Doctor. And for anyone who might want to attend that, we can meet at the Hilton Providence at 6:30 and kind of have a caravan on down for anyone who might want to participate in that. So if you are here in Providence and you want to make your way out there, let's meet at the Hilton at 6:30, right in front where the parking area is. You can follow me on down to the location. But that being said, let us move on to the reason why we are here. I've had the opportunity to meet this very distinguished gentleman by once again attending functions at the United Nations, and I'm acknowledging what the gentleman said in the audience. I had similar frustrations when I went to the United Nations, but then I realized when I got there, I needed to change my mindset because I was still looking for someone to come and save me. And that is never a good space to be in. Asking for an institution that was created by colonial structures to do something to save you from the system that they created for you is a fool's thought and a fool's journey. However, when I flipped that switch and realized, oh, okay, no one's going to save us, but we can utilize this as a platform to network and figure out ways to go about the process of lifting ourselves out of this situation that we find ourselves in. Well, then I kept running into individuals like Ambassador Mazatzin here. So his presentation today is entitled Introduction to the Aztec Calendar. I think that about says all I need to say about this. He might be the premier international expert in this knowledge that he's going to share. And I've been blessed enough on several occasions to have personal conversations. So with no further ado, I will turn the microphone over to the ambassador and say congratulations, ambassador, for being here today to say, share your information with us. Round of applause.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Okay. Which one is this? Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say, Kamati, thank you very much, Mia. The one, no lo baki, equal to me, my heart becomes happy when I see you, but I can't see you too good because of the light. But I know you're there, and I know why you're here. And for those that preceded me, I want to thank you very, very much for creating this space. Because that's what it's about language. It's totally about language. But we're going to be talking about a spiritual language. A spiritual language that was written long time ago. And put into images, put into pictures. Sometimes people think that the Asian people were not as smart as the people now because they didn't use little stick letters to write, you know. But writing this way actually, using these symbols to create a message, you know. So my message is kind of twofold. I hope we have enough time to get into it. But I wanted to say first of all that right where you're at, someone pointed to the north. Where's the north from here? I'm going to face to the north, and then I'm going to face, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to face to the north. The north is called Lampa, the place of transformation, where everything began, the beginning of all things. I'm just facing to the north to get back to this direction. So all the people, all the knowledge, all the energy, like, Raskamati to Tassin Miklampa, Tassin, Pescalipuca, one like me, I thank you, grandfather, and energy from the north. It was a good time in this place of learning. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to face the east. The east is called Navi Slampa. It's the place of the light. So the place of the light, we're going to get thanks to everybody and everything on this corner, this direction. Raskamati to Tassin in Navi Slampa. To Tassin in Navi Scarpante Kuti. You want Chipetote, Pescalipuca, Tlaclau, Raskamati. Once to the north, I was talking to a Pesca and Poca, that I'll tell you about that, but the black represents the beginning of all things. Now to the east, we have another one, a red one, called the Cloud, that's Calipoca. It represents putting everything in order. Then I'm going to turn around and face to the south. The south is called Wheat Lampa, the place of the corner. And right here, our Calipoca is a blue one, called Wheat Lampa. CHEROKEE is Calipoca. Plus, Kamati to that thing, Wheat Lampa. Vikitani mia chico aliki, we originally in Lamash Loyan. Now I'm going to turn around one more time and face to the west. The west is called Siva Lampa. Siva means woman, the place of woman. And I was saying the grandfather because they call it the place of knowledge and wisdom. We will have a place called Quetzalcoatl. So that's in Siva Lampa. So that's in Las Ocamantes, Totasin, East, Pescalipoca, Quetzalcoatl. Vitlani mia chico alisti, thank you for being here. Then I'm going to pick up and look at his life. And I'll ask you right now to stand up with me. Let's take a look at his legs. And just imagine as the sun, right there looking down on us. And I would like you to share this moment with me and just repeat with me. Totatsin. Tonatio. Tonateo. Lasso Kamati. Qualitonali. You say, thank you, our Father, Son, who carries the energy of life. Thank you for this beautiful day. Lasso Kamati. You can turn around one time. And you can't come down, just put your hands down to show respect for our Mother Earth. And we call her Totlazo Larnansi. Totlazo Larnansi means our beloved and respectable Mother Earth, because she gives us food, clothing, and shelter to everything and everybody alike. She's like our Father, Son, gives us life, warmth and vision to everybody alike. Tasukamati o Plasmanansi, Tasukamati o Qualitani, Iklani Nia Chico Alifi, Ikanalosi no Plasosi no Selosi, Chuchitali Shanti, Kisali Shushatiwati, Monteshonesi, Tasukamati or Plasmanansi. Tasukamati, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. What I want to share in the time we have here, the more we can do right now, you know, just facing to the four corners of the place, four corners of the earth. It's not it's not just the corners close by. It's talking about the corners of the universe, you know. It's talking about reaching way out there. For a little while, we faced to the four corners, acting like one person with one mind and one thought, you know, just showing respect and giving thanks. That's all. That's the key. Give thanks and show respect. Wherever you're at, in whatever situation we're at, it's always gonna improve. Okay? So for this little bit of time, I really appreciate that opportunity to share that with you. And I'm gonna get into this. If I don't lose my glasses, I leave my glasses on there. Yeah.
a crowd gathered in front of City College, where a 28-foot diameter depiction of the most precise calendar system in the world marks March 12th as the start of the new year. Mazatzin, an expert on the Aztec calendar, has long campaigned to have San Francisco recognize the date of the Mexica New Year. This year, he succeeded. Following Friday's sunrise ceremony, Supervisor David Campos signed a proclamation that recognizes the Mexica New Year in San Francisco and emphasizes the importance of Acosta's work. Acosta says the calendar establishes a natural order, and studying it can help individuals discover their potentials and capabilities and return to a more natural life rhythm.
In this calendar system, we are all there. Okay? It's not an Aztec thing, it's not a Mexican thing, it's not an Asian thing. It's a human experience.
Okay, how do you like that? Okay. San Francisco, California, that was 2010. On that day, we had put up the calendar. The calendar, I was instrumental in putting the calendar up there. I was consultant for cultural integrity to make sure it came out the way we wanted it. By the way, they used my model as my model of my calendar to use it. But we put it up there in 2007, in about November 2007. Then in 2008 was the first year we started doing ceremonies there. So our calendar, I'm going to show you, our calendar has 4 years in our calendar system. Okay. Anyway, in 2008, we began doing our ceremonies there. The first ceremony, yeah, by the way, our 40 years, they each begin at different times. So we get the year of the house, begins at midnight. The year of the rabbit begins at sunrise. The year of the reed begins at noon. And the year of the flint, it begins at sundown. So they're moving a quarter of a day every year. And they're using up the whole solar year of 365 and a quarter days. And that's why it's considered one of the most precise calendar systems that was created. And okay, so on the 2008, it was sundown. So we're going to do our first ceremony. And we didn't know how to do it yet, you know, or what to do. We just came across the street and we didn't want to make no trouble. And we started across the street the first time. And then the second year, it was midnight. So now we had to come there at midnight. So we came at midnight. And we're in the middle of the street now. And police come and move us off to the side, you know. In fact, that time we even had a water blessing. By that I mean that people from across the street are throwing water balloons at us. So we got a little water blessing there, you know. And then, so 2008, 2009, 2010, the one that you saw right there, you might have seen, or might not have seen, but you might have seen the feet of the policeman coming in there and getting us off the street. Get off the street, tell us. And she got get off the street. So I said, okay. Everybody just sidewalk. You better watch for us back here. So we stayed there and we danced, you know. But that same year, we got a proclamation from the city and county of San Francisco, recognizing March 12th as the beginning of the Aztec calendar. The Mexica New Year in San Francisco, the first annual. And every year thereafter, next year, so it'll be March 11th, you know. Okay. So this year, we celebrated 17 years celebrating our Mexica New Year, you know. And like I said before, the police will come and get us off the streets, but now they're coming close to the street now for us. I call them up and say, hey, you know what day it is? Oh yeah, Mazatzin, that's our tradition. So the police in San Francisco, at least in the Mission District, they know that on March 12th or 11th on the leap year, it's going to be Mexica New Year. And we're going to be there. Okay? Sunrise, noon, sundown, midnight. All of a sudden, the cars open up, people come out of the cars, and they're all dressed. One of the beautiful feathers. I believe in San Francisco has recognized that day. After San Francisco, we got it from San Jose, we got it from Santa Clara, we got it from in Arizona. A couple of years back, we got it from Chicago. This year, on March 16th of this year, after we did our Mexican New Year in San Francisco, I came over here to New York, okay? And on March 16th, we celebrated Mexican New Year in New York City. And this year, we got a proclamation from Mayor Adams, recognizing March 12th as the beginning of the Mexican New Year. In fact, he called it Mexican New Year in New York City. Okay? So in other words, it's there. So now we're from coast to coast, okay? From the left coast all the way to over here this side. Okay? So the idea is to bring the information of the calendar back up again, and let's start looking at it again. Let's try finding out what's really going on here, okay? And how can we use it today? Like I said, it's a language, but it's a language that's been quiet for such a long time. Mainly because the original books, the original few books that we have left, of the 1,000 that existed, a few books that are left, but they're all in some library elsewhere in the world with different names that don't even correspond to what they represent. And most of them, even to the very day, are still misunderstood. They're still trying to decipher something or other in these things. But nonetheless, we're using it, and we're using the ancient books, and we're teaching the ancient books to kindergarten, first graders, and so forth like that. You know? Nowadays, people are being born, and they're asking us to give them their name on the calendar itself. That's very super important, because that means that mom and dad, they're going to really take the responsibility to help guide that little boy, little girl, so we can fulfill its mission on earth. Okay? So the calendar is very, very special, and the main thing about it, that I like about it, I tell people I like this work because I cannot even mess it up. I got nothing to do with it. It's already been there, it's already been written, and all we're doing is just trying to share it. So there's various parts to this work. And one of these parts, the main parts, is when we look at our calendar system, we can see what I was talking about. I was talking about the day signs. There's 20 days in this calendar system. They begin right here, and at the top, and they go counterclockwise. They measure. Today we're in the day of the serpent today. Okay. But of these 20 days, there's 4 of them where these points are at. And these are the year signs. These are the house. Right here is the rabbit. Over here is the reed. And right here's the flint. There's 4 year signs. And you can see the house is from midnight to midnight. The rabbit from sunrise to sunrise. The reed from noon to noon. And the flint from sundown to sundown. Such a simple thing to do. To use the full 365 and a quarter day time. In our calendar, every day has a number from 1 to 13. Today we're in number, let me see, we're 1, 2, 3, we're in number 4, serpent today. We started 4 days, and the day 1, wind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then there will be 1 eagle. And the eagle will travel all the way to the deer, and there will be 1 rabbit. The rabbit will travel 13 days, and it's going to end up in flower. Whenever the rabbit gets to flower, that's the end of the line. We've traveled 20 times 13. We've traveled 360 days. 260 days. And you add another 13-day cycle, and that's like the conception to the birth of the human being. So if they tell you you're just a number, yes, you're just a number. Okay. But find out what number you are. Because depending on the number you fall in the 13-day cycle, we can also find out potentials and capacities of those days. So, in our calendar system, something very special. This jaguar, which is right here, represents the earth. This is a symbol of the wind. This is a symbol of fire. They call it the rain of fire and the water. So what do we have here? The earth, the wind, the fire, and the water. Simple as that. If you don't go no further than that, if that's all you learn, you've gone quite a bit. Because they're telling us, if we want to have life, we must respect the earth, the wind, the fire, and the water. And unfortunately, we have not been as respectful to those elements that today it's even hard to give somebody a clean glass of water. Okay? But if we teach again those important elements, the earth, the wind, fire, and the water, maybe our young professor right there will get to his grandchildren a clean glass of water. But it's going to take us working again to get the world back to where it belongs. Okay? So what do we got? The earth, the wind, the fire, and the water. Right above these signs, there's a little symbol right here. The little blue symbols, they look like dominoes right here. They got a number 5 on them actually. And they represent the moon of Venus. So there's the moon of Venus. Okay? And there's a particular account to it as well. Up on top of that, these little white ones, they look like fingernails or kernels of corn. There's 10, 11, 12, 13. These represent the moon on the calendar. Okay? What do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of moons. During those 8 years of moons, Venus may drive synodic revolution upon the earth. So they took the moon of Venus, the moon of moons, okay, it was 8 and 5, and they give it a 13. So 13 becomes a very special number for counting the movements in the cosmos. It also counts the human being. I already said 20 times 13 gives the gestation period, but also a human being is made with 13 major joints in the body, and that is a body made of 13 major joints. That's also comes from 13. So what do we have? Venus, the moon, and this is a real important one. For the longest time, they told us it was the sun god. And, like, you know, we like to say, well, we like that because we like the sun. The sun's like a good father. But then they told us he was Count Dracula's brother or twin, you know. And he wanted each other. Okay? That wasn't so nice, you know. But he was so pop. You know? But instead, we found out in 1978 that it's not the sun at all. It's the face of the earth. It's a duality of the earth, actually. In 2078, 2 different anthropologists, they found another piece of beautiful island from back then, and realized it was not the sun, but the earth. In 2007, behind the cathedral in Mexico City, they're digging, and they found it, come up with another piece, just 2007. And the same face, the same sun, but it has earth. It was the Mother Earth. So we find now that no, it's not the earth, not the sun, but the earth. That's very important. His tongue, same symbol as we got right here, the flint, for speaking, for bringing a message. That's what this is about. So he's telling us, if you want to have life, respect the earth, the wind, the fire, and the water. If you want harmony in your life, respect everything that surrounds you and what gives you life. Okay? Now, if this is the earth, Venus, and the moon, well, the sun is still here. But the sun is here stylized in a way that they say so that those who don't want to see it cannot see it. But I know you want to see it. The sun is here. This is the beak of the eagle, the claws of the eagle, and the tail feathers of the eagle, superimposed on the face of the earth. These elements, that are the 4 elements of life, they turn to be as the wings of a butterfly. So it's an eagle butterfly superimposed on the face of the earth. But it's got something else. This big image you see right here is right here. The little image right here. Between the condor and the flint, only movement. And his name is movement. In fact, it's called for movement. These are called previous world or previous suns. And they call the whole thing sun of movement, for movement. But it's right here. And guess what happens on July 26th? I had the privilege, in fact, July 26th, 17 years of being there in Mexico City on July 26th when the sun is directly above my head. Okay. The next day, July 27th, and mark this day now very good. That's my birthday, July 27th. On that day, we're in a place called Malinalco, and I've had the privilege of being there in Malinalco the past 17 years to my birthday, when the sun is directly above my head. I think it's so important because we're moving on the calendar system, always on the daily movement. So this big image that you see right here is actually an image of the sun and the Venus passage, the second Venus passage, above Mexico City. So in the first Venus passage, when he's born, he's born during the time of the winter solstice. We call him Huitzilopochtli, the one that's born like a little hummingbird and starts moving north, a parrot movement. When he passes the first time over Mexico City, he's like a macaw, bigger, stronger, more light, but still not as bright as he get. He keeps moving. He continues all the way to the north. He gets to what we call now the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay? And on June 21st, 22nd, around that time, he's born as an eagle. Up to now, he wasn't an eagle. Okay, born as a hummingbird, then became the quetzal, precious bird, became the macaw, and now he's an eagle. Now he's born as a solar eagle. And there's a real nice place in the state of Zacatecas where they have temples for Calipoca. But unfortunately, they call it the temple of the devil, right? You know? But it's not, of course. But instead, in this beautiful place, temple of Calipoca, in Zacatecas, there's two buildings, and there's a space maybe about this big between the two buildings. And if you look way out there to the mountain, you're gonna see a point, and the sun will be born right there. So the sun is born right there, and it comes up and becomes the solar, becomes summer, first of all, but also the zenith passage of the sun in Zacatecas. And that'll be on a date between these two dates right here, June 21st, 22nd. It'll be right here. 20 days later, and then 20 more days later, on the day of the flower, Chochi, the sun will be over a place called Xochicalco, the house of the flower. So in other words, the sun in its movement is going to all these sacred places where we build this pyramid, you know, what we call pyramids. You know. But on the day of 20, always over Mexico City, on the day of the flower, over the house of the flower. It's incredible, because that place actually has a tunnel underneath the pyramid. You can actually go inside there, and the sun comes through there only twice a year. When the first movement to the north, and the second movement to the south, a pyramid movement of the sun. So, we've been there for the past 17 years, like I said, for the purpose of trying to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, because in that day there's no shadow. You're standing on your shadow. There's no shadow. You're the connection. To prove beyond a shadow of a doubt the relationship that exists between the Aztec calendar, the ancient books, okay, and the ceremonial observatories. Now we're learning to call them what they are, observatories, because that's what they are. Otherwise, we're going to call them something else, see? And so we're going to realize that all of these pyramids, that we call pyramids, you know, they're all observatories. And they're all measured in incredible precision times. So, what do we have? 20-day cycles, moving in 13-day periods. What that means, it starts with crocodile 1, he'll move 13 days to the reed, and then it'll be 1 jaguar. He'll move 13 days, then it'll be 1 deer, and so forth, right? Until they're all dead, number 1. Until they're all dead, the 13-day cycles, okay? Now, a couple of things that are going on here. What we did here with this, we brought this information out, and it's real simple. You know, we just tell you, you know, what the meaning are behind the images that we have here on the calendar. Because we think it's very important. Because at the museum, they'll give you a piece of paper as well. But they'll say many different things about the images that are on here. And it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help us for understanding it, and much less to be able to use it. So this is what we have here. Oh yeah, it's got an original name too. This is a big down here. There you go. That's the original name. Oh, did it come up? This is the original name of the. There you go. So the original name of this calendar is Donald Marshall. Donald Marshall. Donald means the sun. Marshall means the pattern. So we call it the pattern of the sun. So what is it about? It's how to become like the sun, how to be like the sun. You know, we're children of the sun. So this will help you to become like the sun. Why do you want to be like the sun? Because the sun is real interesting. The sun gives light and warmth to everything and everybody alike. It doesn't see colors, it doesn't see people. Like it doesn't even see us. We're just here. Okay? We're like a plant, we're like a man, we're like a earth. And the sun is going to give us the light and warmth. It's so important for us to recognize the sun as a father. Not religiously, not a God, stuff like that, but as a father, because he gives light and warmth like a good father to his children. And the earth, a good mother, who gives food, clothing, and shelter. There's one of the persons I wanted to show you. The other one that I was sharing with you right now. This right here because there is spirituality. Now, we're convinced, already convinced, we're convinced that it was not done just by Mexican people in Mexico State. It was not just done by the Aztec or something like that. A lot of times we don't understand what Aztec is, in fact. So when to talk about Aztec without knowing what the word means, it's not cool. You know? So we need to learn what it means first of all. Okay? But this particular images, they don't come from what they call the Aztec area. They come from Oaxaca, from Puebla, Mixteco, Zapoteco. So a whole different group of a set of peoples, but nonetheless, as you can see, all the same day of the calendar. You know? So in other words, even though they had their own language and everything, when it finally came down to it, bottom line, everything came back down to the language we call Nahuatl. Nahuatl, that was the main language that was spoken in Mexico City, but then it comes all the way, they call it Aztec when it comes up north, but it comes all the way up north, okay? It goes all the way down south, like a mother language. But they all have their own language as well. Hundreds of languages, I'm not talking about a couple, hundreds of languages, you know, and it's still there. Not all of them are the same languages, some are dialects of those languages, but there's hundreds of languages that are original languages that we should also be trying to recuperate. So we call this our spiritual languages. And this is one of so this comes in 3 pages. That's one of the pages. Here's another one. It doesn't look a whole lot more different. But what's happening here, it's starting over here and it's traveling in this direction. And then it goes up right here and it goes in this direction. And I'm going to show you a clearer picture now of this. And it goes all the way to the end, and it comes back. So 3 pages in that codex, precious codex. No special codex. But those 3 pages are so that's one that we call one day in the count of Tezcatlipoca. Because all those images that you see, these are all just one day. All those images that you saw, those are one 24-hour piece of time. So another, they had 20 day signs, but each day sign was also divided into 20 pieces. And they were coming down to some real incredible piece of time, 18-minute segments that they were living on. So this right here, it's in Spanish, but I can translate for you. And so here, we call it one day in the count of Tezcatlipoca. We got 20 big pieces of time. Underneath them, we have the day signs. And the day sign will continue. For example, there's a crocodile, and it comes all the way through. It'll go to the flower, and then what you're doing is going to change. So right here on this one, the flower is right here below that one. Right here's the flower. So the flower ends, and they were doing this before, okay? And now they're doing this. Okay? So before the first one that you see right here, and what they're doing, like for example, this is Quetzalcoatl, okay? And he's got a sharp bone there in somebody's eye there, okay? But this is not a man, and this is not a baby. It's a piece, okay? It's a piece of time, okay? It's a piece of time when Quetzalcoatl, which means precious knowledge, precious wisdom, precious knowledge of yourself, is activating the sensors of the vision, the heart, and the intellect of this piece of time, okay? Of this piece of time, you know? It's not even a person, all right? So, what piece of time? You doing it? Let me see. Okay, so go ahead. It's activating the reed, the jaguar, the eagle, and the condor. And then this gentleman here, that's Xochipilli. Actually, Xochipilli is photosynthesis. Okay? So he's activating the moon, the flint, the rain, and the flower. So they all have an opportunity to activate. So the first group that you see here are activating. Okay, and then they start presenting. Okay, and this is going to end. And then at the end, these are women. And now they're breastfeeding. They're like weaning. So when one is born, at the time that you're born, that's when these for example, let's say the symbol of the house, well, we knew what energy is presenting that piece of time. Okay? We knew what energy was activating the visions of the heart and the intellect. Okay? And that was part of the responsibility of that little child. The mom and dad were going to remind him always about this. You know, hey, don't forget you got Quetzalcoatl in there. You know, don't forget you got Mitzipochtli, the will to move. You know, so Quetzalcoatl. I know they call it a feather serpent, but it doesn't mean feather serpent. It actually means precious serpent. Because Quetzal is precious, not feather. It means precious serpent. Because the serpent is a symbol of knowledge and wisdom. They're talking about precious knowledge, precious wisdom. And from the word coat, serpent, we get the word today that we use, we say cuate. Un cuate es un cuate. My compa learns un cuate, right? Everyone knows un cuate. A buddy, a friend, a best friend. I'm talking about your best friend. So when you're little and somebody wants to mess with you, you look what you can't hit him, hit me first, right? You know? Boom, he gets it first, you know? Because he's saying, that's me. So whatever you do to him, you do it to me. Check it out. We do that when we're small with the kids, but now we should say the same thing. Hey, you do it to him, and I think it's real special. So Quetzalcoatl, the precious knowledge of my precious self, you know? We still unfortunately found the god of war, the hummingbird. But he represents the sun when the sun is born in the winter solstice. That's why he's born like a hummingbird, you know. He starts moving, but he represents the will to move, the internal will. You know. Quetzalcoatl is the consciousness and the memory. Okay? It's consciousness and memory, but not just your memory. Also, mom and dad and grandpa, grandma, and great grandpa way back there. All that stuff is in your heart. Okay? And that's why you got to look and talk to your heart on a daily basis. And then Chipetote. Chipe means like a serpent sheds his old skin, because it's got a new skin. So potential to transform the plant means. So what do we got? Quetzalcoatl, knowledge and wisdom. Quetzalcoatl, consciousness and memory. Mitzipochtli, the will to move. And Chipetote, the potential to transform the plant. I know where to drop the old clothes. So I think it's a lot about renewing. And I'm so glad, I'm so very, very glad that they were able to finish the work. To us, this information proves that they were able to finish their work, what they were working on, and what they were doing. So here, like we said, each square represents 72 million. Okay. Right now we're working in conjunction with the University of Mexico City, UNAM, with the Department of Astronomy, okay? So the Director of Astronomy also joined us when we wrote the letter to the Pope, you know, telling him, hey, buddy, it's time that you return our book, okay? So we can get together and work together. We've got a lot of work to do. So we can't do it while you got my book in your shelf there, you know? We need to have it back, because it represents our spirituality. And like I said, now, we're in, it's not for Mexico, because nobody could have done this work by themselves. No area, no people. It had to be in conjunction. So I believe that the Aztec calendar is a proof positive that our ancestors worked together, that they had meetings like this, international, national gathering, where people presented what they had, and they shared what they had, and then they started building on it. Because this information goes back thousands of years. It goes back to Lecti Caca, it goes back way over to Tiwanaku in Bolivia. You know, I had the privilege and pleasure to be there to see the images that are there. I believe the calendar came from there, actually. You know? And I believe the grandfathers from the South, they came to the realization that the sun was the center of our universe. That was their main objection, object they were after, and they call it Indi. So to them, the sun is everything. But it didn't stop there. It continued. The work continued. Every word continued. So everybody passed it on to the next one. I think it's important because it's like here. So far, everybody that I've heard here speaking, they're all talking about how to pass this on to the next one to make sure it continues. Because it doesn't belong to any of us, but the responsibility belongs to all of us, you know? And so that's what we're doing. So, like I said, these brothers, these elders here, they're not even taken into account. Because like somebody said earlier, we talk about Maya, we talk about Aztec, we talk about Inca, but we leave it there. We don't know that a thousand in between, you know? They made it to that point. And none could have been here without the one before it. That's the important thing. Because nobody really was taking anybody down and totally wiping them out, you know? They would come together and learn what you got, what I got, and we come together. And I think that's what's important about this work that we're all doing together here. So, I feel one more this one. I think my chair is kind of slow, so I apologize. But that one is a real special one. This is very special because this is the main culprit. Everybody was afraid of this guy, you know. There's the main culprit. And if you know about it, he's got all these day signs on his body. They're all on here. The deer, the crocodile, the serpent, the wind, the condor, the rabbit, the skull, the flint. So all these, because this is one day. In other words, they took it down to one day, to walk in one day, and getting the most out of time. So I think that was the most important thing they did. I don't think they invented much. I think they just observed much. They observed everything around them. They observed from the cosmos to the smallest little insect, how they worked. And they wanted to learn from them, and they learned from it. Because they became one with that ant or whatever you want to call it, In other words, they were not separated from themselves from it. And that's real important, because that way, guess what? Wherever you go, you find brothers and sisters. Because we all get fed by Mother Earth. We all get sunlight and energy from the sun. So when we bring this information into the schools, into the little kids' schools, I don't care what nationality they're from or religion or whatever. When they leave, they'll say, Mazatzin. Thank you. Because what are we doing? Our grandfather said that we're giving them their own faith and a strong heart. We're giving them an identity. Okay? Without an identity, there's no responsibility. Okay? If we don't identify with something or somebody, we have nothing to do with that. We think that's their problem. They don't realize how interconnected we are. And the more I help, the more I get helped. And nowadays, we got this thing pay forward, and we're helping each other all the time, trying to help somebody come forward. So, we came another time. Oh yeah, I'll go to this a little bit here. Because these are real interesting. Like I said, these are show you the actual images. So like I said, the first one is there you go. So the first one, they're activating the sensors, the vision, the heart, and the intellect. Okay? Depending on these four elements that are right here. And these are four of the day signs. But like I said, here they're only worth 18 minutes. And then the next one, they're presenting, they say endorsing. Okay? And the next one happens by the umbilical cord, all the days of their life, energizing. And then finally, the fourth one will be women, it will be breastfeeding, like weaning. Okay? So these are potentials that come in when we're born. So here we got the first one, it's called SANDHILL, the first energy of the corn. There's tupac, the first light of the sun upon the earth. And Mictlantecuhtli is real important, but they want to call him the god of the dead. But Mic means transform, Tlan means abundance, Tecuhtli means guide. So he's a guide of abundance transformation.
Transformation.
In fact, there's not a word for God in our language, or any original First Nation languages. In fact, there's not a word for God in our language. It doesn't exist. But we have the concept that we have today. Okay? So no, he's not the guide of the dead. He's a guide for transformation of bounds. And that's real important to see things that way. So we got a couple more here. It's Alcoa, right? So here, it's Lalo, right here now they're presenting. Then right here they have, like I said, by the umbilical cord. And they're all going through all the day signs. So those little 18-minute pieces of time, they got potential, they got qualities. We want to learn them, and we've already done that too, by the way. We've taken this to the schools, we use it in the schools. As the teachers, we changed the curriculum to show three things: creativity, activity, and reflection. And then activity and creativity. That's 6 hours. It's 2 minutes, seconds, 5 minutes. And oh man, the students are coming together like a team, and they're flying colors. Then finally, like I said, we have the women that are breastfeeding. So when we
I'll just share some things here, but we're going to take some questions, and then I want everyone, they're scheduled to have our film screening starting at 1:00. So I'm going to suggest that everyone go out and grab something and bring it back here to eat so that we can start on time with the film. I'm going to go to our first hand raised here in the audience.
Hello, boss. I wanted to ask you if you could show us an example of how you did show me that one time, and I think it's really mind-blowing. How that works with the birth dates, or how you go through that for a person.
Yeah, I mean, a chart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you mine.
Use this as an example with the permission of Ambassador Lorraine Escalante. We just had the honor to do her study, and very interesting. But so the study, when we do a study, this is red, the red coming down the line. Okay? And as you can see here, in the time of the 13-year rabbit, named Toshli, in the year 6 breed, named Chipasiaca, and the respectable companion Tezcatlipoca, and Chutekuti. In this 20-day period, we call Panquetzalisli, guided by Huitzilo Portugal, in the day 3 house, she was born. Okay? With a respectable companion, that's Tepiolosli, part of the mountain, which is a jaguar. The number 3 had a companion, it's called Xochihuitlique, she's the lady of the jade skirts. And a winged companion, a bird in this case, Totli, which is a hawk. And then we also got a night number, a calendar of the night. Her number was 4. It was guarded by SANDHILL, the energy of the point. Now, in the 13-day period she was born in, because she's born in here on 3 house. She's born in the day 1 crocodile, which is the beginning of the 13-day cycle, right? Okay. And then she was born during the time, like I said, we go down to 18 minutes, 72-minute segments, while Quetzalcoatl, a precious serpent, a precious knowledge was activating in the minutes of coagulated eagle. So, and we come essentially means the respectable cosmic companion. Every day has a companion, is a respectable cosmic companion, which represents potential in the piece of time to fulfill the mission represented by the energy. So it was Centeo, the one that activated the vision of the heart, intellect, Xochiquetzali, precious flower, to present and to enjoy photosynthesis, to sustain all the days of upon it by the mother of medicine. So all this is 19th of December, 1979, 427, and the best one, Shashui Teperosi, Venerable Jade Jaguar. Was planted upon our beloved and venerable mother. So if we say Jade Jaguar, and then I'm going to show one more thing, and then I'll be done. And then we'll be done. Who's my young man? Okay, now this is the other part of it, okay? Comes in two parts. So one part is the written, and what we tell everybody when we send this information to them, it's a lot of information, a whole lot of information. We just ask you to just read it and read it and read it and read it and read it over and over again. And so you can read this page like you were reading the written page. Okay? When you know the story, it's in a 13-year cycle of the rabbit, right from the year 6 blink or 6 read and come out. So that's the way this one works. This one starts here and it comes this direction. And everything we read on the other page is on here. Okay? And plus we got the names as well, so you start reading these names. So all this is it's called a tonalam. And it means the record of the passing of the days of the sun. And so here this begins. In the 13-year cycle of the rabbit, on the year 6B, guided by Tezcatlipoca, she was born. The year 6 read is guided by Tezcatlipoca again and Xutecuhtli. Xutecuhtli, remember, Tecuhtli means guide, the Shu means fire, so the guide of the fire. And Huitzilopochtli, Opochtli becomes the south, and Huitz is the thorn. So, and the thorn representing the beak of the hummingbird. That's why the one that comes to the hummingbird from the south. Okay? And then born on the day 3 house, Kali, guided by Teperosi, the jaguar. Well, this number 3, now, that'll give us another number. That number 3 will give us this lady to guide us, Shashimitlikwe, as the lady of the jade skirt. Here's the hawk. The hawk's got their own numbers. They're in the ancient book. And then Xochipilli photosynthesis. Right here is the night companion, also Centeo. Okay? He was number 4 of the night. Now here's her 13-day cycle that she's born under. There's a lot of information here that I personally don't have that information yet. There's still, believe it or not, there's still people using the system. And that's the most important, the most beautiful part. There's still people using the system. Okay? But there's still teachers. Because when we started doing this work about 10, 15 years ago, they told us at that time yet for some of this work. Because in the wrong hands, it can do more harm than good. 13-day cycle. And then, so who activated her sense of the vision, the heart, the intellect? Centeo, first energy of the corn. Who presents her and endorses her? Xochiquetzali, precious flower. And who has to, by the work all the days of her life? Xochipilli. Means the lady of the Magin plant. In other words, this is a cosmic potential that they have. Question?
Well, I just want to make a question.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, we'll have have to make this the last one. You can grab Mott's on the lunch break and ask him some more specific details, but I want to make sure we stay on track for our film discussions afterwards.
Brief one. So earlier you spoke about the importance of knowing language, right? The Alto being the primary language. So can you speak a little bit on what the terms that many people know in terms of Olmec, Toltec, Maya, and Aztec? Can you tell what they actually mean in the language?
Okay, that's a good point, and not only with that, I appreciate it. A very good point. As you can tell, there's so much to this. There's so much to this. I'm still overwhelmed by it, you know, and I'd like to get into it. But it's very important. So in our website, we have a website. Hopefully, you guys take down our website because every day we got a talk on there, okay, in the morning, 18-minute segments, you know. So there's something I think that's super important because it tells you more importantly that there's times for everything under heaven. I didn't make that up, but there is. There's a time and a purpose for everything, you know, and they knew that too. So they took advantage of time without abusing time, but it was very important. But to begin with, okay, when we go back to old times, it's called Olmec, okay? So the Olmec, it comes from two words. One word is Oli, the same I was showing you earlier, Oli, movement, make movement. And the other word, Mekat, is, you put an E on it, make it Mekate, it's a rope, something to time with. So Olmec are those who began time, the movement of time, okay? And they began timing, and with rope, with strings, and knots. Where the ropes and knots, we were able to make the circles, the squares, everything you can imagine came out of little knots, you know? Those Olmec, okay? So they measured time. And I believe what's happening all over the world. I believe every culture, every nation was measuring time somehow, marking it down some way, you know? The way they did over here was broken strings. In fact, the people from the South, they still use that. They call them people. They have all their prayers in those strings and those ropes. They're very important. After that comes the time that we call Toltec, the time of Toltec. So Toltec is, I mentioned earlier, Olmec, Toltec, Zapotec, Mixtec, Aztec. They're not really nationalities. They're not people who live in a particular place only. They're more than anything else. The time of Olmec, the time of Toltec. So Toltec, they became the builders. Using those measurements from the grandfathers, they became the builders. They created, they invented, they were powerful people. Not perfect, but precise. So they came to precision, okay? And that's why to be Toltec meant not to settle for second best, okay? In other words, we're gonna go with the best we can, we're gonna do it in this one, you know? We're not gonna settle for second best, you know? Okay? That's what Toltec means, okay? And then the time we call it the time of the Maya, or the Maya, okay? And same thing there. It's not just one group of Maya, there's 20, 30, 40 different people that fall under the Maya, you know? But I mean the place of measurement. So their mission was to measure, and that's why their mission was to go to the beginning of time that we were in this period that we call the 26,000 year procession of the equinox, and find when it began again, and they measured precisely. So December 21st, 2012, that's what that was about. It had nothing to do with calendars, Aztec, or Maya, nothing like that. It had to do with the Earth being at a particular place in time, okay, when it began a new cycle. Okay. After that, we come to the term Aztec. Okay. My grandfather was not Aztec. They became Aztec. Okay. And people don't understand that part. But they were not Aztec. They became Aztec. Okay. So what does Aztec mean? It comes with two words. One is Aztli, A-Z-T-L-I, means an instrument to harmonize. And the other one is Teca, means a person. So what is an Aztec? An Aztec is a person who becomes an instrument of harmony. That's what Aztec is. But they couldn't become Aztec. They could not become Aztec until they had been to the Maya, till they've been to the Toltec, till they've been to Olmec. Okay? Because you cannot be here until you come to those steps first. Okay? And that's why it is. So all our calendar system, I believe, they're all linked together because we have proof, right? We find feathers up north that don't belong up north. We find songs and words down south that were not down there before, you know? So we know that there was movement. Right now we got what they call the Indigenous journeys that right now are traveling or running the east crossing to Mexico. And they began to talk Alaska over there somewhere. And in fact, we're going to meet them, hopefully, we have like now, in November 26th, 27th, they'll be coming into Colombia. You know? So they're running the whole continent, you know, from Argentina all the way to Colombia, and from Alaska all the way to Colombia. So that's important because that shows that people move, people could move. I'll end this part with this. I got one time many letters, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of letters from the prisons throughout the country. Because they wrote an article on their work and went to the prisons, into the magazines and everything, you know. And guess what? I got thousands of letters, thousands of letters. And they all said the same thing. They all told me, Mazatzin, please tell me who I am. Because I thought I would be an Aztec when I did that day like this. You know. In other words, how they paint us as our people, they call themselves a pillar prophecy, you know. They paint us a certain way, and we gotta be in that way. Okay? That's not the way it is. So to become an Aztec, you have to become an instrument of harmony, you know. So the very last thing, we're moving hard, trying as hard as we can, for the repatriation of this ancient book that we've been talking about here, okay, called the Code of Origin. Okay? And just this year, you know, with the help of the Family Federation and the nation that got me the letters, I was able to go to Geneva, you know, to the expert mechanism and the rights of indigenous peoples to present the issue of the codex. You know? So I think we're getting closer to it. You know, it's so important to get that codex. We finally found access to an ex-ambassador from the Vatican to the UN in Geneva. So we're getting close to it. I believe that codex is a culmination of all the nations coming together, you know, to bring this information. For the purpose of what? Of learning to respect time, to get the most out of time, you know, and to fulfill your mission. Each one of us has a mission. But here's the most important part about it. It's got nothing to do with it. Okay? It's got nothing to do with it. We're not the most important thing there is. You know, we're not. Time is. Time is the important part. So what do we do with a piece of time? How do we take advantage of abusing it? Right? And how do we fulfill the mission that we came to accomplish? You know? So, without any questions, oh yeah, outside I have a couple of my booklets. I still have a couple of booklets with me, some posters that we put together to help you continue the teaching, the studying. All our work is for that purpose. People to learn how to use it and take it to the next level. Because in all the rights that you're talking about, people are getting, you know, the rights that we have, the indigenous rights. One real important part about it is not only do we have a right to get the ancient things that belong to our ancestors, but we got a right to take it to the next level. You know? And that's what we got to do. And the last thing I'll say is about the UN. About the UN. When I first came to the UN, it was 2016, I think, 2016, the first time I came. And my friend brought me in, he told me the truth right off the top. He goes, it's not what they say over there, it's where you're going, you know? It's who you're gonna meet there. Okay? It's who you can, like my brother, big brother there, the queen over there, my big brother chief here, my brother here. In other words, who do we meet, you know? So whatever place you take, whatever thing happening, whatever, it's not about that exactly. It's about who you can meet and where does the future take us, you know? So I my big brother here, my big brother chief here, you know, I also believe that the UN is a vehicle. And so far they've been driving this crazy vehicle called creating and running over everybody. You know? Once we get our hands on it, we're going to drive it more carefully. You know? So in other words, it's a vehicle that belongs to everybody. So I'll just say, Tlaso Kamati, Tutasin, and we got to be considered not on a deep and one chance. They don't have plans to back. Heya, 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 kawa, keya, heya, shayomo, kika, keya, o, aleya, keya, sai. Heya, 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 keya, kukuawala, miawala, shoko, kena, yeya, kumaya, mi, awa, keya, heya, keya, oa. Heya, 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 ke makai, kiyo kukina, wicheska, miyo kikunai, ina ke kwanenea, ke maye kanai, iya kukumaya. Etiche, Shusha. Oh, Mikishka. Let's go, Mati. Thank you very much.
Hidden, and it's starting to come out, and that's what this Con Festival is all about. It's these sorts of conversations, these sorts of wisdom and knowledges, but then most importantly, how do we take this and put it into application in our everyday life to make it a better place? As he said, being Aztec. We all know what it means to be an Aztec now. So, with that being said, we've got about 15 minutes till we're scheduled to start our film discussion. I'm going to connect with Mr. Demi just to see what he needs to get set up here, to get rolling. I encourage you all to go out. There's a few pizza and sandwich shops over on Mazatzin Street. There's a fried place that's kind of cool, but if you go down Washington here, there's just some places around where you have to sit and grab something, but grab it, bring it back here, and we're going to get into our final presentation of our conference for these past 2 days. Kadapatush once again, Mazatzin, thank you very much. Another round of applause. And we'll see you all back in about 15, 20 minutes.